Good everybody, Chris Farhi here from the Bayleys Insights and Data team. I've got Eos Li from our team to talk about the biggest news in New Zealand real estate. And so Eos, whereabouts is Anchor?
Anchor's back in India currently.
Yeah, little holiday, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Holiday.
sweet. So yeah, hopefully having a great time there. I think we'll try and get an update from him maybe next week,
Yeah,
see what's
hopefully.
going on.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, welcome to our studio, Eos.
Thank you.
Yeah, sweet. And so in this video, we've got a pretty good roundup of content. We've got an update on New Zealand's first IKEA store, reopening of an energy efficient marae. We've got a snapshot of recent waterfront commercial sales across New Zealand, a bit of content from Australia and India, and of course we've got the property of the week. And so Eos, first up, we've got a bit of an update around the first IKEA store.
Yeah, so IKEA, as we know, is the largest Swedish furniture retailer, and the first store will be located in Silvia Park. IKEA, they purchased the site from Quay Property, who owns Silvia Park Shopping Centre. Chris, they made an announcement about the construction.
Yeah, so they've announced that construction is starting and it's due to complete late in 2025, so it's actually not too far away. There's also been a couple of details about the new building. So it's about 34,000 square metres, which in fairness is like massive.
Yeah.
And that's about 3 rugby fields, and it's set across 3 levels, car parking, and then 2 levels of store. So yeah, super exciting to see that coming into fruition.
Yeah.
So next up, an energy efficient marae has reopened in Invercargill. And so this is the redevelopment of the Murihiku marae, which is obviously located in Invercargill. It's been a hub for the community since the 1980s and has just had some redevelopment with the help of the government. And so Eos, they talk quite a bit about it being an energy efficient building, and they sort of threw around the term triple net zero. What did they mean by that?
So triple net zero means that the building is expected to produce zero energy waste, zero emissions, and zero waste. The technology includes extensive solar panels.
Next up, we've got this week's sales snapshot. This week's snapshot's powered by the team at Bayleys Commercial with a sample of some recent waterfront commercial property sales around New Zealand. Now, I'll qualify these that the properties are not fully comparable. They're each a little bit different, but they are interesting nonetheless. And so, Eos, what's our first sale?
So the first sale is 3 Victoria Road, Devonport, Auckland. It's the first time on the market in 110 years. It has 459 square meter floor area on 468 square meter site. It's on vacant possession. It's sold for $2 million or 4,400 per square meter on floor area. It's sold by Michael Nees, Ranjan Anka, and Jason Haidt from Bayleys Commercial.
Next up, we've got 58 Devonport Road in Tauranga CBD. So this is a 450 square metre commercial premises sitting on 358 square metre site. It's got retail plus 2 office suites anchored by Specsavers. And this one sold for $2.425 million or a 5.8% yield. And that was sold by Lloyd Davidson and Rory Brown from Bayleys Tauranga.
The last one is 341 Wakefield Quay in Stepneyville in Nelson. Standout Nelson waterfront property, 240 square meter on 194 square meter site. Residential zone, but has commercial use rights. Restaurant, dining, and self-contained apartment. It's sold for $1.35 million or 5,625 per square meter on floor area. It's sold by Dennis Christian from Bayleys Nelson.
Next up, going offshore, our global partner Knight Frank released their latest Australian Industrial Review for Q1 2023. And so this covers the latest activity in the major industrial property markets in Australia. And so Eos, the prime rental growth has been quite interesting.
Yeah, it is. So there is a widespread rental growth due to the record low vacancy rate. So in Sydney, the prime rental up 8% in the past 3 months.
Which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like that's some pretty epic growth. I think the annual rate that they were seeing was above 30% rental growth, which again is just ridiculous. Within the investment market though, things were a little bit different. So higher funding costs have taken a lot of sentiment out of the investment market. And within Q1 2023, they had about $800 million of sales, whereas the same quarter the year before was about $4 billion. So quite a sharp decline in investment activity. But Eos, they're expecting sort of record high development.
So the market is expecting high level of new development during 2023. However, the land values is stabilized. Some precincts see softer prices.
Next up, also offshore, we've got something a little bit different. So we've got our global partner Knight Frank's study into the stormwater infrastructure in Bengaluru in India. And so EOS, what do we know about this location?
Yeah, so this is the third largest city and the fifth largest metro area in India. The current population is 13 million, up from 3 million in 1980s. They had a massive growth in IT, biotech, and education industries.
Yeah, and so it's quite interesting. This paper basically looks at the extreme growth that they've had and urbanisation of the metro area. And now what's starting to happen is that their stormwater systems are being overwhelmed, which is leading to flooding issues. And so the paper looks at sort of the interplay between the stormwater infrastructure, urbanisation, and the real estate markets. So it's quite interesting. So we won't jump into too much of the details, but they've obviously got a really extreme situation with that, but it's not too dissimilar to some of the stuff that we've seen in New Zealand recently with the Auckland floods and then some of the issues around Cyclone Gabrielle. That was an interesting one to check out. And then finally, to wrap up, we've got our property of the week. So EOS, what have you got for us this week?
Yeah, so my property of the week is 6169 Russell Whakapara Road in Russell. Experience luxury redefined. It has 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms on 3.85 hectares. It overlooks the Bay of Islands. It has an existing reputation as 5-star tourist accommodation. If you want to learn more, please contact Aaron Bremner from Bayleys Bay of Islands.
And then for my property of the week, I've got 109 Te Oniroa Way in Long Bay in Auckland. And so this is the last super lot for sale in Long Bay. It's got excellent development flexibility and prominence, wide road frontage and situated alongside Long Bay Regional Park. It's got resource consent in place for 57 residential units. And if you want to learn more, you can contact Lane Harwood from Bayleys Commercial. With that said, we'll wrap it up here. So thanks very much, EOS.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
See ya.